This was the best night's sleep I've ever gotten. The place we were staying at in Poughkeepsie was so quaint and peaceful, and the host had piled blankets on the bed, so I felt like I was wrapped in warmth despite the chilly night and open windows. The house was pretty creaky and lofty, but I loved it. The sounds of passing cars and the wind lulled me to sleep. The next morning, we headed on our way to a tour at Vassar College at 9:30. Along the way, we gawked at historical houses and took in the quiet whole town. The weather was perfect, sunny but chilly. We stopped to get some coffee and bagels at a cute little cafe. I got a chai latte. It was pretty delicious. We toured the campus for about 2 hours. I was very interested in the art museum they had, called the Loeb. The school was totally up my alley, so I'm glad I checked it out. Wait. After our tour, we had a lengthy walk back to the train station, but it was okay because there was plenty to see along the way. I'm a big fan of trains. They make me feel like I'm going on an adventure or, I'm mysterious. The train was pretty empty, so we picked the best seats for seeing the passing views. It was a gorgeous area with huge houses looking over clear water. I tried to imagine the people who lived in those homes, but it was kind of hard for me. Our peace was eventually disturbed when the train filled up pretty quickly near the end of our trip. But it was okay because it was almost over. We got off at Grand Central Station. I loved the echoey halls of the station, and the intricate architecture really fascinated me. The place we were staying at was in Midtown, so we wandered around trying to find a place to grab some drinks. We ended up at this cute little bodega. It was pretty tiny on the outside, but on the inside it was packed full of interesting spices and mushrooms. We eventually made our way back to our apartment and decided to climb onto the fire escape. It was pretty cool for somebody who didn't grow up in the big city. Took the subway to Brooklyn and ended up at the Brooklyn Bridge. It was pretty crowded and pretty touristy, but I think it was worth the view. Later we had dinner at Francis Tavern. The food was pretty good. We had oysters and crab cakes. The lemon tart was absolutely delicious. The next morning, we got up pretty early and walked along the High Line. It was really cool. There was lots of cool architecture and art pieces, and obviously the plants were gorgeous. After our walk, we were pretty hungry, so we stopped to get bagels and coffee. We decided to walk through Central Park to get to the Met. It was really cool. I've never been to Central Park, so walking by all the little different places were so interesting. It was definitely the biggest park I've ever been to, and I'm a big fan of Olmsted. I read a book about him, so it's kind of interesting to get to see his architecture, in the flesh. I'm a big fan of people watching, and there were lots of opportunities to watch young families and interesting characters in Central Park. I also really enjoyed all of the live music. Next, we went to the Met. This is my first time at the Met since I've never been in New York before, so I wanted to see as much as I could in a short few hours. It was really cool. I've never seen a museum with this much art that was very up my alley. I really liked all these Dutch masterpiece paintings. They were really well made, and I liked all the little animals in them. We got there just in time for the last day of this Van Gogh exhibit, which I thought was really cool. I'm a huge fan of Van Gogh, and so I like to see his little sketches. This was the music exhibit, which was also really cool. They had lots of cool different instruments, some of which I had never seen before. These little devil guys were really interesting, and their faces were kind of scary. I think this was one of my favorite pieces of art at the museum. I'm a huge fan of Impressionist paintings, so I found this room and I was in love. There was a lot of Seurat's, which I love, and some Monet's, which was really cool. These little tiny violins made me laugh. Surprisingly, the modern art exhibit at the Met was one of my favorites. I just loved all the different colors, and I felt like many of the pieces were extremely unique and interesting, including this one of this little skin figure. These were pretty cool too. They were all upside down, so you kind of had to look at them a certain way. After the Met, we visited this really cool old bookstore. We kind of stumbled upon it and fell in love. We spent about 2 hours there. I found all these really cool prints there and was looking through them. The next day, we got up really early and got on a plane to fly back home. It was raining when we got home. It was really peaceful. Thank you for watching.